at the end of the day, we all like to get to where we want to go on some level. It's just like, we have a good idea and you just have to start pursuing it and dig in, and it usually comes down to just like discipline, persistence, and just like getting done what you need to get done.
Mm-hmm.
So
For sure. Yeah, definitely true. At the same time, if the person is experienced and can, give you a different perspective, he can just, speed up some processes.
Welcome to Seven Figure Entrepreneur, the #1 podcast bringing you behind the scenes with real online earners. And today we have the wonderful Rus. Rus, I don't know your last name, man. And I don't know if you want to tell people it or whatever, but like I was going to be like, come on. I think that most people in this space know you guys as just like Rus and Tim, because you guys.
Yeah. I'm Tim and Rus.
Tim and Rus. Yeah, exactly. I feel like you guys are life partners whenever you go to shows, and I appreciate that. I don't know what your outside of work life is like, but at shows and most affiliate events, you guys are together. But yeah, I don't know. Rus F. Let's call you Rus F.
Yeah, Rus F. That would be a best way to go.
Okay,
because
perfect.
Ukrainian last name, and it's pretty complex for
let's hear it, man. I'd be curious to hear.
Yeah.
It's a Fetchenko.
I like that.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's good, man. It kind of sounds Italian, which like, I'm sure you hate me for saying that, but.
It's fine. I'll take it.
Italian's good.
Italian's good. Yeah. And then we have wonderful Tim. Tim, what's your last name, brother?
I think it's even longer and harder.
Yeah, I think so too.
Shkarovsky.
Interesting. What's your background?
Mine?
Yeah.
Like professionally or what?
No, man. Like, where's the last name from, bro?
Yeah, like Russian-Ukrainian descent. I think my dad's Ukrainian, my mom's Russian, so
guys, I gotta know what's with all the Russians and the Ukrainians in your area or at your company.
It's just people who came from those countries, they are willing to hustle. And apparently this industry is a good fit for that.
Yeah, but I feel like geographically, everyone in your vicinity around there is Ukrainian or Russian, at least who I've met.
Yeah, there's a lot of people for sure.
Yeah.
I think overall, West Coast is best coast. So you got like LA is a hot spot, San Francisco, Sacramento, and Portland. I think those are some big hubs for Slavic nations.
That's fine.
With LA, you don't feel it like that. There's too many Russian and Ukrainian people, but when the city is smaller, you kind of more, you can see it.
Yeah.
Every third, every fourth, whatever. So.
Fair enough. Tyler, I did not forget to introduce you. We just veered off track there, but we also have the wonderful Tyler.
I'm not Russian or Ukrainian, so I get it.
What are you, Tyler? Do you know? Straight Canadian?
I'm like heavy German, but I do love a good pierogi.
Nice.
Who doesn't, right? My dentist asked me what I was like yesterday, and random, like I haven't been to the dentist in 2 years. Call me whatever you want to call me there, but my fucking gums are on fire, bro. I got like scraped to shit. But anyway, she's like, "Oh, what's your descent?" And I was like, "Nobody ever asked me that ever." And I don't know. I think I'm some sort of Irish or something.
They say 18th generation Canadian.
Yeah, 18th generation Canadian. White as white comes. I have zero culture. I like hot dogs.
Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah.
Nice. Hot dogs and baseball.
Hot dogs and baseball. No, not in Canada. Canada, it's hot dogs and hockey.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have zero desire to play hockey, or I don't like hockey. I want my son to like avoid all things hockey.
Really?
Yeah, dude. Fuck that. I don't want to wake up at 5 a.m. to take that asshole to practice.
Dude, you don't need to take him. You have to wait.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Right. You won't do it either.
Or nanny.
Yeah. Also, congrats, Rus. Kid 2 just had one.
Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
I have one of each now.
Boy, hey, you look like you're sleeping too. The more I look into it, I don't see Keep out of bags. You're in good shape, man.
Oh,
No
thank
Gucci
you.
bags
Trying,
under
trying.
sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife takes the hit. So.
God.
Her baby, her
Sure.
choice. That's what I tell my
Yes.
wife all the time. She's like, "Oh, I'm so tired." I was like, "Your baby, your choice, man. This is what you wanted. I wanted a dog." I want to clarify though that I love my son. He's awesome. He's the coolest dude ever. So,
Are you
but
guys ready for the second one? Or not yet?
no, I might do the surprise snip, and just be like, "Hey, I didn't know I shoot blanks." No, I think that's frowned. I think that's frowned upon from her point of view. But like, yeah, I don't know. I haven't quite got over the hump yet to be like, "Oh yeah, another one would be cool," But
Yes.
I don't know, man.
But you're not like a hard stop, are you? Like one and done.
We'll see.
Tim, I'm
Time will
like
show.
He's kind of there.
I'm
He's
like
there.
after 2 beer hard stop, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not quite rock hard, but I'm pretty hard.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I
But
hope someone clips that part of this podcast, man. And that's all that runs.
Just banter.
I think that we should actually change this podcast from a business podcast to shit talk. Because that's really where I thrive. Guys, I have nothing to talk about when it comes to marketing anymore, but I have tons of shit to talk about that has no value in life at all, except for humor.
We just need a few beers and we're good to go.
That's right.
100%, man. Or some mushrooms. Yes, some mushrooms. Yes. All right.
Perfect.
We should probably talk about work. We should talk about where you guys are from, what you did before this shit, and yeah, kind of how you got to where you're at now. Because like I've seen your numbers. You put up serious numbers. Russ and I had an interesting relationship in the start, and now we're basically besties. Yeah, let's start from scratch, guys. Like, tell us what you did before this shit, how you got into this industry, and then we'll continue on from there.
Nice. I was thinking about where to start because I knew you were probably gonna ask this question, and like the story is so like long, and I tried to shorten it to and tell it as fast as possible. But I would say in my case, I'm from Ukraine, which you already know.
Yeah,
and I moved here to
I
the
can tell.
States. Yeah, the accent also helps me to let you know about it. So I moved here like 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
And when I originally moved, I started working on a startup with a person who I met in Ukraine a year prior to that.
Mhm.
And so in a span of 7 months, the startup didn't work out. Unfortunately, we've invested a couple $1 million. It was like several people that were working on this project. And so the main investor, the person who started this whole thing, he had to pivot. And he said that like he has multiple businesses and one of them is related to online marketing. And there is an opportunity to start media buying thing.
Mhm.
And so if I want, I can hop on and we can continue having this kind of partnership. And I'm like, I'm already here. I'm all for it. Let's do it, So started from the scratch. And when I joined his structure that he has, the team was already under his business. And so Tim was kind of second person. Both of us started this direction. And so now 4 years later, we have 13 people.
Oh, wow.
Now I'm barely trying to remember how was it, but I definitely remember it was super hard, frustrating for like over a year. I think we didn't have good results. It was all negatives. And so it was almost at the point where we're probably going to stop doing this, But then thanks to your podcast, thanks to your information, your course, thanks to God that I somehow found this information at all, because there's not that many information out there. And you guys sitting doing these interviews, I don't know what you're thinking, but you helped guys like us, I think a lot, So that was a game changer. We started cracking some numbers, started to become profitable. And then at some point we decided to scale the team, and we thought it's going to be super easy. And we went from 2 to like 7 people, and then nope, it didn't work. Back to 2, then to 10, then back to 5. And right now it's 13 people. In terms of revenue, like last year we finished 12 million. This year, hopefully everything goes well and it's going to be around 50. Because like I already told you before the call, we have a pretty good first 3 months. I mean, this is the 3rd month, and it has a pretty good traction.
Awesome.
So yeah,
dude,
this is
that's cool.
Very short version of what's happening.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Way to go on that. Congratulations, both of you guys.
Yeah, that's super sick.
Thank you.
Tim, how did you kind of get into this? Because Russ said you were in this before. What were you doing?
Yeah, so I went to school for like data analytics. I got a bachelor's in MIS is the name of the degree, but essentially I was funneling down the data analytics path, and then I was wanting to do like data science. So I was like thinking about doing masters, going on to grad school and this and that. And I landed a job working for the same guy that helped Rus out of Ukraine with the startup as a data analyst for their email department. And so kind of learned some stuff about email. And at some point it just, I got presented an opportunity to learn Facebook ads. And at first I was like, no, this sounds miserable. But, you know, they showed me they introduced me to some people that told me some numbers that they make. And I mean, it was like, okay, there's more than I can ever make trying to do data science or whatever. So
yeah,
I got partnered with Rus, and the rest is history.
That's
I
cool,
love it.
man. Do you still do a lot of data? Like, do you love digging into the data and stuff on your guys' side? Or I think you were saying you're more like biz dev now, but
Yeah, definitely still enjoy digging into data and anything in Excel. You know, I feel like that's my expert tool. I feel like we've been able to utilize that heavily in our industry. But I mean, everything to do with what we run is, you know, analyzing what the hell's going on and how can we do it better.
Totally. That's awesome.
That's very cool, guys.
How big do you say your guys' team is now?
What are we at? 13?
13 people?
I mean, yeah, the next week we're going to have another guy joining the team. So it's, you know, fluctuating. Some people come, some people go, but it's around 13 right now.
How's your team structured? Do you have like a team of all media buyers, or are there like creative guys in there? Do you have a whole mix? How's it set up?
Yeah, it's a pretty mix right now, but I would say we have a developer, we have a team that connects all the dots, and he is more operational. I would say he is COO of the company. We have CTO, who is developer. We have CEO, myself, and I'm running stuff also. We have about 5 or 6 media buyers right now. We have a person who works with a TikTok shop and a couple other different projects on side. Then we have a person who works with actors. Did I miss someone, Tim?
Pretty much got everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Something like that. Yeah. And maybe the number of media buyers, I can actually check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people right now running traffic today. So it's 8 media buyers. I'm sorry.
That's awesome.
And we have our dashboard where we can see live our stats, which is like game changer.
Yeah.
And this guy who is a developer, he built it for us. He connected all the dots, and it's just, man, it's
oh, interesting. So it's like
completely
real
different
time. So it's real time and it pushes back. Oh, that's sick. So it's like, is it an API that plugs into like Facebook, or is it a Red Track thing?
It's on Facebook through Red Track and goes to this platform in-house, built in-house.
Cool. Very cool.
And so it's you can play around, you know, see who runs what vertical accounts, traffic source, ad sets. I mean, everything. Is it profitable or not? So the next step would be to turn on and turn off ads if needed.
Yeah.
But it's a process. Before, when we started, like 3 years ago, almost 4, we were running together, Tim and I, one account. And it was such a mess, you know. I launched something, he launched something, I changed something. He's like, why did you do that? I'm like, what? And so on and so forth. So it was. Now it's like, I don't know how many accounts we have.
Yeah.
like about 100 total, but then active like 20, maybe more, and
Damn.
everything is separated.
I'm curious. So when I go to Gabe's event, you can tell people who are at Gabe's event who are like a one-man shop or two-man shop. Obviously, you guys have grown now, right? You guys 13 people. Can you talk about how you guys have had to change as entrepreneurs in order to, like, do you think the two guys, when you guys first started, do you think you're the same guys you are now as you were then? And if not, what changed?
Nice question. That definitely a lot of changes happened, but if to be specific, it's just like we were willing to grow fast day one. The thing is, like, you always hit the blockers, hit some challenges, not only in terms of like Facebook, but mentally to keep certain,
Tim, what's your answer on that?
We were ready to scale quick, but the hardest part was like we found a structure that works. We found a vertical that works. We thought we had everything in place. Like we found the angles that work for ads. So we're like trying to recreate them. And then we're bringing on board media buyers who want to do like either joint venture or, just kind of start them from the ground up. And, we assumed if we just pass all these things right off to them, they'll kick off and take off and run. And most of the time, like our stuff would die out. Like all of a sudden, Rus and I are back to square one at zero. Like nothing's working. We're losing money. We have guys that still don't know what to do, or us, promised they could, but couldn't figure it out. And so, then it's like, okay, let's backtrack. Let's figure it out again. And then it's like we build ourselves up, get to a point where we feel like we've, cracked Facebook. We've cracked this offer, maybe a couple offers. And, then you kind of start to pull in a few more media buyers. And I think twice we scaled up pretty quickly when we were seeing some big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And, when we scaled up and brought some guys on, like basically our numbers kind of, shit the bed. And again, it's like, you come back to square one. And so several times that happened. And so, but over time, we're learning from our mistakes. We're learning not to just, bring a ton on board, but scale up slower, make sure we really have stuff dialed in and it's, we can repeat our own success. And then kind of start to bring people on board who then we can like essentially share the success with.
That's cool.
Do you because I think you said some stuff there, but maybe not explicitly. Like, were you initially, one vertical and everyone was all in, and now you guys are more diversified, or how has your business model changed to support your growth?
Definitely. Yeah, exactly that. It was like we started out just doing auto insurance, only Facebook, and over time we've diversified into more verticals because a lot of things are seasonal. You have like ACA, Medicare, very seasonal. Auto insurance, as far as I know, before we started running it, it used to be evergreen. For as long as we've been running it, I mean, it's been a roller coaster. So
yeah,
and so really it's diversifying and being able to break into several different spaces and be successful consistently.
The only time I've really seen auto kind of die off is like around COVID. And then this last time where buyers backed off, like in the whole time that I've been running affiliate, like it's usually been pretty evergreen. Same with mortgage refinance. That's another one that was like always evergreen until like lately, last couple of years.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I like literally mortgage was so steady. Like companies built an entire book off mortgage. And then when everything like went down, they really had to pivot, and they did a good job because they understood how to build an offer and make it profitable. But I know mortgage definitely impacted, and we'll see what happens, man. Next couple of years, rates are supposed to be right where they were, or maybe a little bit higher, but I'm sure rates will, people will come back and want to refinance once that happens. So
I think it's going to be dependent on who gets into office.
I mean, I imagine we don't want to push rates down to look good, but
yeah.
I always think about the growth curves I've gone through in order to scale from like 1 to like 10, 20, et cetera, and how you like build past that. Do you guys feel like you're at currently at a glass ceiling, or do you think you have a clear roadmap to like start blasting through like 20, 25, 30 million?
There is nothing clear, I would say. In our case, it's always like this year is the biggest so far, and we're like, how did we get here? I was seeing some potential, but I didn't see that much, And we basically did the same thing again and again, and suddenly just started working that well. So, and when it comes to people, every time you get a new person to the team, you're like, are you as sustainable to handle another person? And if the person switches some company, then you understand that you can mess with this person's life. It's like today, everything looks good. Tomorrow, like I said, we don't know, but we hope that it's going to be the same good, at least, if not better. So it's kind of pressure, mental pressure. And this, I don't have the roadmap. Definitely. It's like one step at a time, and then you can turn back, try to connect the dots, make some conclusions, and probably apply those conclusions to the plan of how to move forward. But not always it works. I would say the only one thing, I'm not going to give up. That's the main probably point. And we're going to figure it out. As long as we can, breathe, as long as we have a chance, time, we're going to do the best we can. And so far, this strategy worked out, I would say.
I mean, I feel like perseverance is such a huge part of entrepreneurship. What if anytime we're having like internally, I don't know, have you guys seen that short Jocko Willink clip called Good?
Yeah. That's one of my favorite. Yeah.
It's so good, man. But every time like something's kind of shitty for us, we like fire that around, we all watch it, and just like gives people like a second breath, you know what I mean? Stand back up, figure it out, persevere a little bit more. I feel like every problem's got a solution. It's just a matter of like growing in to figure that out.
Yeah. Just unfortunately or fortunately, during that moment when this happening, you're not thinking like that, and it's so hard to think, positive. You're like, man, that's it. It's done, and it takes, efforts to make you think different.
Totally.
And you kind of forget all your, phrases, all the books, all the,
motivational speeches.
Different, yeah. You're like, I hate this stuff doesn't work. Why,
Yeah.
That's not, I'd be actually
I planned my life.
Yeah, right. Have you guys, as far as like self-development stuff goes, is that something you guys actively invest in?
For sure.
So I'm trying to invest more and more in that, and I feel like it has some like results for sure. Because the main point, and I just recently reached out to Todd, the guy from the event, client, to schedule with him or some sessions.
You're the second guy that's mentioned Todd to me today that said they reached out to him because of the event.
Nice.
Yeah. That guy must be making bread, man. He's like 15 grand for 6 months or something?
It's not bad at all.
Probably like that. I mean, as long as he provides the value, then like any money worth it. I mean, to some extent, and depends on what level you're in. But
I think his roster's pretty good, right? I think like if you look at the students he's had, he has like pretty good success record, right? So I think that in itself is maybe it's two things, maybe it's the people that are actively looking for him, but I think also like he has some secret sauce in there. He knows how to get people in the right direction, especially high performers.
So, and you guys have both utilized them, right?
No, I've never used Todd.
Oh, okay.
Gabe,
no, so I almost signed up with him, but he didn't have any space available, and I was like, oh, I want to get started now with someone, so I hired a different coach. I hired the same coach that one of my buddies hired, and it was different, man. It was like, I think it was less. So I was looking for a performance coach because I have issues with discipline. Like I suck at discipline sometimes. So I was kind of like looking for that. And I think Todd is more tactical, but in hindsight, like I'm grateful I went with who I went with, but I would also love to do Todd's stuff as well. Cause I think Todd's just a different type of guy in terms of what I received, so.
Nice. From what I understand, Todd is good because he knows the industry.
Yeah.
That's the biggest upside out of everything else. Because I had a coach too from Tony Robbins for quite a bit. And yes, it's helpful, but then at some point I kind of said, like, we need to pause it for a minute because like I literally understand what I have to do and it's just about doing this consistently.
Mhm.
It's
And yeah,
it's funny because I feel like all the training or whatever I do, it's like by the end of it, I'm like, sure, there was some helpful points in there and it pushed me in the right direction. But I think like we all kind of know what the fuck we have to do, unless it's
Yeah.
like really big picture problem or bigger problems, like building a company to like $1 billion or whatever, or big shit that like we just haven't done, like I understand that. But I think that like at the end of the day, we all like to get to where we want to go on some level. It's just like we have a good idea and you just have to start pursuing it and dig in, and it usually comes down to just like discipline, persistence, and just like getting done what you need to get done.
Mhm.
So
For sure.
Yeah, definitely true. At the same time, if the person is experienced and can, give you a different perspective, it can just, speed up some processes.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
literally for me, the biggest take probably would be that you spend like half an hour or like an hour talking to a person about like really deep things that if not this person, you probably wouldn't do it. Or if you do it, then you good, but it's so hard to find this time and dedicate it for this, self-talk. If you don't schedule, if you didn't pay for that, now you paid, now you schedule, now you talking to yourself basically for an hour and answering those deep questions.
Same with
It's
like a
usually
personal
helpful.
trainer, right? Like that's like you're gonna show up. You're not gonna waste your time. So
Right.
yeah, I agree with you with that. There's huge value there. So yeah, man. Change of subject here. I just want to tell this story because it's kind of funny. So I met Russ originally because he slid into my DMs. And this was in the start of their sort of like their I don't know exactly where, but like the beginning stages of their internet marketing career. And so there's a lot of bootlegged courses of my old original course out, like the cheap one, like the $1,000 one out there. So Russ is like, why would I buy this from you when I can just get it for like, I don't know, whatever it was, $150 or some shit, And I don't know. I guess like at the end of the day, I just said, I don't care, man. Do what you want to do, like whatever. But he ended up actually buying my real course. And like, money aside, I'm grateful you did, man, because I never would have fucking met you past that. I would have been like, oh, this is just some asshole who bought a bootleg version of my course.
Yeah. For me,
I think it was like
still
$20.
remember,
Yeah.
$20 was the like whatever ripped version. And
Yeah.
like $1,000 or $3,000, I don't remember. It was like
No, it was
pretty
1,000.
big number for me. 1,000.
Yeah.
Still big number. To that time. Like, why would I invest it? And then I was just curious what you're gonna say, and whatever you said, it was just, yeah, it's a good guy. I want to build a relation with this guy, The way he answers, he's real, The person who is selling a course maybe would be, pissed off about the people who are reselling stuff and say, yeah, I'm this and that, throwing a bunch of, why I should buy from him or something like that. When you just like, I don't care, do whatever you want. I'm like, this dude is real,
Yeah. But you want to know what's funny on the back end of that? And I was like, fuck this guy, man. Like I put my like heart and soul into the shit and this dude just like doesn't give a fuck. And I was like, why would he even ask me? Like, if you're going to do it, just do it. So I'm like blissfully unaware.
He's almost taunting you.
Yeah. She's like, yes, I know my course is out there, whatever. But yeah, man, I'm glad you did. Not only for your money, but for our relationship, because I feel like ever since then we've kind of been like bros, and yeah, it's been good. I've definitely had some fun time with you dudes. So more so with Tim.
Yeah, and
Tim's always the guy that's like shows up and just like, yeah, what are we doing, guys? Let's do this.
Down for the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, along with that came the community. I mean, there's a huge community with, and then like the now advanced affiliate association you're doing too.
The events,
Yeah. And that was huge. I mean, that was worth it all. Obviously, relationship with you guys and then, the community. And, and
Tim
overall,
just,
like
what were you saying?
Yeah, I was going to say like, that your guys' motto, no fake gurus here, just the whole channel itself. When we first found it was like, we kept YouTubing anything to do with affiliate marketing. And, you find a bunch of BS out there, a bunch of crap that doesn't work. And so when we found your guys' channel, it was definitely like, a breath of fresh air. And that was our in,
Yeah.
like, oh, these are affiliates. Like, this is what it looks like, and
Yeah.
that led to
guys in
shows.
t-shirts.
Yeah, guys in t-shirts.
Exactly.
So it's funny, man, because like at the Tim was just in Miami at my affiliate event, and it was a great event. But prior to that, people were like looking to sponsor it, and they're like, "Oh, who's your speakers going to be?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man." And you're probably not going to know them either. They're just like random affiliates, dude. Like I don't want any gurus, There's one guy who's like kind of a guru there, but he has like a massive company, right? It was like Carlos Corona, but he also teaches some shit, but he's really good at what he does. But yeah, man, it's like, I don't think I'm ever going to like sync up with like big time gurus. Cause I have no desire with that. It's not real. I feel like everyone's just going to sell people bullshit. I just want people to like learn on like real shit. So I think it was cool because we got to see a lot of people's campaigns, like 100%, like dig in, show us everything, which is really dope. And also just like the inner workings of some people's companies, which I thought was pretty valuable, So, yeah, man, it's definitely been a fun time putting those on. So
when the next one's going to be and where, do you know?
San Diego, June, already booked the house and everything. So just getting that all sorted. I think it's going to be around the 8th of June or something. Yeah. So I'm going to do 3 locations now. Every year. We're not going to change it up all the time. We're just going to do San Diego, Austin, Texas, and Miami. So it kind of like, Central, East Coast, West Coast. It's going to be a good balance. Yeah. Yeah, man. I feel like we should dive into like some details about kind of like what you guys do as much as you'll share and stuff, because you guys have been really good at scaling as your numbers have spoken to us with, like what were you say, 12 million last year?
Yep.
Yeah. So are you guys running a lot of that traffic yourself, or is it like mostly going through the media buyers? Russ, do you even run traffic anymore? Yeah.
Yeah. I keep running.
I think Russ runs the most.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Russ is 10 of that 12 million.
No lies.
Fortunately or not, I'm running. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to find out how to pass the information and to teach people so they can do the same, or ideally better. Because like I told you, we've met in Vegas. When I see like someone from my team is scaling and getting some numbers, even when they do 10 times less than I have, I don't know, some more feelings, how good I feel about it, because I kind of like get used to my stuff. And it's so nice to see how someone is growing and they changing their lives to better. And you see how it was from the very beginning. So I'm willing to, pass it.
And has that been a challenge, kind of like passing it down exactly what to do? And then like on a more detailed side, are you figuring out creatives and niches yourself and then just like kind of handing those off to the media buyers? Or are you just being like, hey, this niche works. Here's some ads that work, create your own versions? Or what's kind of like your setup there?
I would say for the most part, we're trying to crack stuff by ourselves first. And so we know that guys are set up for success.
Nice.
And then very rarely we can give something that we don't know about, because if someone goes trying to explore and nothing works, which is very expectable, then I have nothing to say, and it's hard for me to, help somehow.
Yeah.
So usually, something that I cracked, and I usually, head down working like, I don't know how many hours up until we finally see some results. And then we throw more people into it. I mean, passing them what's working for us and, try to recreate your own stuff, use whatever works for me, go to Facebook library, try to find something else, whatever it takes. But yeah, we have a structure how to recreate videos, how to create our own videos in-house. And, there are 2 ways of recreating videos. One is through actors, and second one through the company that we work with. They, constantly popping up new update versions of the same create using just B-rolls. Nice. Different B-rolls.
Yeah. We just
can talk more about that. Nice.
Yeah.
How do you feel so far about it?
We've only been running them for probably like 2 weeks now. So it's kind of like too early to tell. We haven't had any wins yet from the creatives that they've given us, but I do like their speed of implementation, and I do like the cost. Like, I think we get like 10 videos a day for $1,500 a month, which is like, so I bought the lower tier just because we already have a couple full-time editors, right? So I wanted to balance it out before I fully like got rid of the editing team, just to see how these guys perform. So yeah, so far so good. I haven't done the UGC stuff with them yet, but yeah, I'm definitely going to give it a try. Tim, what do you think about them?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to try. They have like their highest tier where they like basically you hand them a vertical and they figure it out on their own.
Oh, interesting.
So far we have like the mid tier. I think we're at like 30 videos a day, and we actually put a dedicated guy on it where every day his goal is to fill them up and make sure that they're that we can juice them for as much as they promise they can make us. And it starts with like a lot of editing, but I think they're starting to feel out what we're looking for. And so essentially we just send them anything that we've had success with. And we're like, hey, chop this up. If it's actors, just throw a bunch of B-roll over it. If it's already a clip with a bunch of B-rolls, like remake it, a bunch of hooks. And so we're just like, like as we've put like a dedicated guy on it, we're starting to see some success come out of it. But initially it was a little shaky. It was like, is this worth it? Is it not? But
yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Have you guys noticed any trends lately on what kind of videos are working best for you?
Yeah, I would say that I like the setup where we have several things that are working at a time.
Smart.
Where we have video, then we have video of two variations at least. One is a bunch of B-rolls, and second is just like UGC selfie video. Okay.
Gotcha.
Then we have images. They also work well. And then we have a long story copy that also works. So when you see at a time for one vertical works 4 different things, I mean 3, but technically 4, it kind of, gives you this feeling of diversification. It's not going to die out tomorrow, at least, it has some lifestyle.
That's
value,
smart.
Whatever.
Do you guys notice a difference in your quality, like across the board? Because I imagine you're hitting quite different audiences with those, like maybe the video ones you're getting the same audience with, but that long copy image, I'm assuming you're getting a different market with that. Do you guys like push back your ad parameters or your ad IDs or anything like that to kind of get a gauge on quality? And do you notice a difference?
So definitely there is a difference in certain images or ads. They target different audiences. And if we talk about auto insurance, so they like, variety of ages, and there is a core ideal client for them. But if we target only that, we're not going to be profitable. We're not going to bring those big numbers. So we have to go
get
broad.
Those seniors, bro.
Yeah. Fortunately or not, they convert well. But if you have only seniors, it's not going to last long, So you have to have some funny videos, nicely looking, maybe stupidly looking. I don't know how to put it in the right way, but the videos are going to attract, younger generation. Yeah. And you have to have this mix of both, and then you can keep, growing your numbers.
Yeah. Very cool.
But if you don't know, you look at the video like, this video works? Really? It works? No way. Like, where's the logic here? What kind of people are clicking on this ad? So that type of impression I have when I see those ads that are working. And I would say, in my case, like I'm running ads, I don't even look what the ad is. I'm not even checking the video. Like I know that the team knows more or less what we need, what we can't use, and I'm just throwing. And when I see something is working well, I'm not checking the ad. I'm just putting this, ID and scaling the ID or making the dupes. I don't care what's inside.
I love it. I love it.
So that's how it goes.
That's awesome.
Creative team finally getting locked in.
Yeah, dude, that's great. That's a good spot to be in.
But it's not ideal. Don't get me wrong. It's not ideal. I can't say like we're gonna get a winner tomorrow, like out of 100 new videos. No, it's constant.
Yeah.
And suddenly something pops up.
Yeah. How many videos do you think you guys are testing a week, or creatives, I should say?
I mean, these days with this 30 videos a day plus something that we create by ourselves, it's in hundreds.
Nice.
few hundred for sure. Yeah. And that's where we've been putting the most, like attempting to put the most emphasis, is just on the creative. Like just getting, I think you guys know Carter, right? He's mentioned that like, the key to his success was testing like up to and past 200 videos a week. And so, or 200 creatives a week. And so to us, that was like a benchmark, like, oh, okay, like, that's what success can look like. But also, the more tests you're able to pump out, the faster you can find, the winner. And that's where we've been trying to like, almost like not put that burden on the media buyers. Cause we haven't had like too much success with finding media buyers that are just like creating their own and, basically, working from the ground up. And so our goal is if we can nail, first of all, like understand the psychology of the ad, like why is this working? Why is this selling? I really like Dennis hit on like the VSL and like his whole psychology. Cause I mean, that is still the structure of most ads, whatever you're selling, whether 100%. It's products or services. And so that's been our goal. We're buying books for our guys where, we're reading these books ourselves, like cash advertising or breakthrough advertising, so that like fundamentally, like however media buy changes, like we still understand why people are buying or clicking. And so that's been our goal, is to really just build like a powerhouse in-house creative team. So it's still in the it's still in the works, it's not anywhere near where
we're not there yet by any means.
That stuff's hard to teach though, right? Like I feel like creativity and copy is like, I would argue one of the hardest things to like get a good grasp on, unless you're testing tons of stuff and just writing scripts and everything every day. So yeah, I mean, it's going to take time, I think, with anybody. So that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's true.
As far as overall like direction as a company, is there any like specific verticals that you think are kind of going to open up in the future you guys are kind of keeping an eye out on?
So I would say in our case, like, yes, we're still cranking good numbers with affiliate offer type of thing.
Yeah.
But then we're pivoting more to e-commerce right now.
Nice.
And I would say the biggest thing we have right now, we have a deal with a pretty good company. Their net worth about 20 million right now, and their media internal is not that good. They know our numbers. And so they were like, okay, if we, send us to the moon, which is super possible, then you get equity and this and that. So it's a good setup that we have with them. So that's one direction to get more like these. I mean, for now, we need to succeed with them and then, grow, but then also have our own brand product, I would say.
Yeah.
That we're going to push and, sell it. If not, then, just keep pushing, because we've seen like people that are creating much bigger numbers with having their own product, like e-com, like stupid products that you never would think they can make that much money. And they're making it.
There's some guys that have done some awesome stuff, just like in the skincare space, creating skincare brands, blowing that up and then having like a good lifetime cycle to them. It's pretty interesting what some guys have done. Or I had a meeting last Friday with a group. They had, I think they had 280,000 ACA contracts, and they were receiving $10 to $25 a month per contract. And I forget the life cycle of it is, but like they built a really good residual. And after the front cost, it's not necessarily a whole lot of servicing. So it's pretty cool what some guys have done when they've gone to like actually own versus just do the lead gen side of things.
Yeah, that's a different game. I just don't see us doing anything on those verticals. There are so many affiliate networks, even though there are not that many, but still it's pretty competitive space to build anything right now. I mean, we believe more in e-com thing, it's easier entrance.
Yeah, fair enough.
Very cool. Question for you. Have you guys ever looked at markets outside the US at all?
When we look outside of the US, it's gambling that attracts our attention a lot. But
gambling's huge. It's
you
can get approved on Facebook to run it, but I don't know how challenging that is.
So in the States, I know there is at least one team that has this offer, and they say there are 4 states that officially you can promote, but you have to get the approval. Like register your company and get the approval that you can promote this gambling thing.
Yeah.
But then it's only 4 states, and I don't know how good it is. And and like it's not that easy to get the approval. Guys who are running gambling across the world, around the world, it's just there's no approval. There's just game of
Turn and burn.
what they call turn and burn. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what they play.
Yeah. My buddy used to crush casino in I forget exactly, but I think it was like Dutchland or something.
Didn't he was getting checks on going too, wasn't he? Because like, don't you get a percentage of the player on their life cycle?
Yeah, so that's how he said it. But also if a player won, it would deduct from him, right? So he bought into the lifetime player. So like some months he'd just get like an extra check for like, I don't know, 50 grand randomly. But then other months his money would get deducted.
Yeah,
my other buddy was
like
doing it
once you
too.
have this skill set, you can it's almost like a gun. You just figure out where you want to point it. You can almost do anything, but just a matter of like what you ultimately choose.
Yeah, I just think that there are so many opportunities, and you don't want to take the one that is less, interesting in the long run. So yes, there is a gun, but there's so many, places where you can shoot.
Totally.
Like where to aim, like I have not that many bullets, like the time is going, and like good thing that we're in this industry, like auto insurance, for example, it's pretty scalable and now it works good, and we're able to scale that hard how we scale. But if we're like in refinance, now we suck and we have to pivot, so it's more like to choose the right direction,
Totally.
where to use the tools we have.
Yeah. Agreed.
What do you see is growing on your end right now? What kind of potential of verticals? Anything?
You know what's interesting, man, is like, at least on my side, I really think that almost any vertical can be made profitable, but I think we all in this network, everyone just kind of focuses on biggest cap, right? Like I think that like everyone's going after like ACA, or like 2 years ago or a year ago it was Medicare, and then it's like, I don't know. I really think that like the grass is greener where you water it, in a sense, and as long as the buyers are there,
That's true.
it's like you can make anything blow up, right? Because like, I don't know, man. There's some people that you hear about what they've been running for the past like 5 years and be like, I'd have no idea, right? Like, so I don't know. What about you, Tyler? What do you think?
I just try to like look at the overall like consumer trends of stuff, like, debt's at an all-time high. What does that actually mean? Like obviously credit card debt consolidation, but like also loan, also anything like finance related, people are going to want to save money. And then like projecting out in the future, what could make sense to start looking at now and like prepare for that. And some of it would be like, I think rates are going to drop. So everyone who has at least where I live here in Florida, like prices have like definitely stopped climbing depending on what you buy, but they've kind of stalled. And I feel like a lot of people are just kind of sitting on a lot of equity, so that like there's not as much stuff moving because people are sitting. But eventually people are going to want to free up that cash from their home, right? So I think when rates kind of come down again, I think refi is going to be big. I think all the financial stuff is always good. I think most of it's like pretty evergreen for the most part. And then outside of that, I think there's some interesting opportunities with just different deals you can make. Like, I think the pharmaceutical industry has way too much money, and, they have probably a lot of stuff to spend. We talked to one recently, and their annual budget is like multiple, 8 figures on stuff. And they're not so ROI driven, right? And so it's just a matter of like where they're spending it. So I think there's always opportunities, and like a lot of pharmaceuticals, regardless of what happens, like people always need that stuff. So I think there's like a lot of opportunities. I think it's more about like, how do you structure things? I really try to understand how to get like more of a unique deal than other people, and be more tied to the outcome. And this is just my own personal like thought process, but like, how do you get more attached to the upside? Because you meet some of these like companies that are, debt consolidation companies or whatever. And once you understand how that customer, which we get what paid one time for, they come back every month or like, every couple of years, and you can pull a lot more lifetime value out of a user. It just kind of changes the dynamics a fair bit. So I think there's just a lot of opportunity, again, finance, pharmaceutical. There's probably more, but I'm really trying to figure out how to get like more interesting relationships. That way, like when, people do move into the market, they might not have the same advantage that I have. So that's kind of like how I think about stuff going forward.
I also think
pharmaceutical.
Yeah. I also think from like the affiliate standpoint, we're all just sort of looking for that next trend within an offer. And like Tyler was saying, like, let's say debt's great or loans is great. But I feel like at the lower level of an affiliate, you're kind of at the mercy of how these offers are performing. Right. So if you can really, like, you guys used to be like the loan kings. You guys used to smash loans. I don't know if I can say that on here, but I did. So whatever. But like, I'm assuming you guys don't push it that hard anymore just because the offers are just not as good. They're not paying out as well. Maybe you are. I don't know, man. But I think like
we're not.
Yeah. So I think if you had those direct relationships with those actual loan buyers, it might have been something that was evergreen for you, just like auto insurance was, right? So once again, I feel like as an affiliate, we're always looking for that next affiliate offer that's going to crush. But I feel like these markets are always crushing on some level. So
yeah, that's true. In terms of pharmaceutical, it just hit me that we had a good run with the COVID tests. There was an offer for quite a bit.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, I
We-
know a bunch of
we
guys
had a
made
good run.
money on that, man. That PPP loans was probably the best case study I ever saw, where they did like $1 billion in 90 days. Like the
Yeah.
fact
Yeah.
that our industry completely blows my mind. Like that's
Yeah.
just insane. I think at their the whole thing campaign lasted 90 days and they scaled up to $1 million a day. But that's mind blowing to me, man. I'm like, it's crazy what some people have done.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, in regards to, I think it was Taylor Hendrickson, right? He spoke at the GeekX that did the Hunter, actually, from the your last event. He was like, hey, they're doing a new project, like it's like IRS, what is it, tax solutions or something like that. And so, I mean, it could be some new big thing. Obviously, they hit it out of the ballpark with the PPP loans. So I'm trying to find that offer.
Yeah. They're doing another GeekX, I think, in June in New York or something. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on there. I think Carter's actually speaking at that one. They dropped me like the speaker
nice.
list.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it looked interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Carter is another inspiration.
Yeah.
Like
He's
the
a
way
cool
he
dude,
runs
man.
stuff, it's different.
Yeah. Does he still run anymore? Does he just do like the business side of it?
He still runs, I believe. I was in Dominican. He was still talking about running ads.
Nice.
But he's like in and out kind of.
Yeah.
I know he's got like his policy jar side of the business, which is blowing up, ACA and all of that, which is smart. You know, it's a smart way to go, is, you know, obviously establish something.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, shit, guys. This has been fun.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to make
yeah.
this happen, guys. I wish we didn't live so far away. Mostly me.
I hope I live far away too soon. So
Texas isn't that.
Yeah. You trying to move?
buddy, Friday I'm going for my temp visa, so I'm either getting approved or denied, my friend. And then yeah,
Oh,
that'll be the
Where would you
deciding
move?
factor. Probably Texas.
Nice. Austin?
Yeah, probably try it there for a bit, and then if not, I'll I don't know, maybe dabble in Florida. I don't know. I just want to get down there because I feel like there's so many cool places that you could live in the U.S. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well,
All I
that's
care
awesome.
about is fair weather. You know, like I don't want rain. I'm done with rain.
Yeah, we feel you, man. We're in a tough climate.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate you. Thanks for coming on here. It's been fun. It's been a long time coming.
Very
And
long.
it's pretty cool to see you guys where you've come to, right? Like I think from that first DM to now, like that's huge growth, dude. Like you guys have crushed it. So I don't know if you do, but give yourselves pats on the back, because I feel like in this space, we don't really appreciate how far we've come. A lot of the time, we're always just looking forward. But yeah, I'm glad you guys have got to where you got, and I'm glad to call you guys my friends too. So, and for everyone listening, subscribe, do all that shit, like us on iTunes. I don't care what you do anymore. We just do this every once in a while. We're gonna try and ramp it up. Honestly, we have a lot of people on the roster that want to jump on the podcast. My biggest issue is Tyler's schedule. I'm wide open. I don't book calls. Tyler's like, his schedule is just like stacked calls. It's hard being him.
You
Sure.
just have to be on your toes, and when Tyler is ready, you just hop on it right away. He's like,
No,
"In 5
no,
minutes,
no.
let's go."
Here's the thing though, Tyler, it's not like that, because as soon as Tyler has a minute, he's picking up his phone, calling someone to bang out some business shit. So there is no free time unless it's in his schedule. I know how
True.
this works. Very true.
Nice.
All right, guys,
I
have
like,
a good one.
I like you said, AI version of Tyler. That's a bit
Yeah, right.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Can't be that hard.
Nice.
All right, guys.
Well,
See
thanks
ya.
for having us.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks again.
Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Peace.
Bye.